students. I hope so. Everyone is good and everyone is fine. So we have completed off with the chapter number 6, that was manufacturing and industries. So today we are going to start with the new chapter, which is from the subject economics, and the chapter name is money and credit. So this is going to be the lecture 1 for chapter number 3, money and credit, from the subject economics. So here in this particular chapter, we are going to discuss about money related things like money as a medium of exchange that we use on a day-to-day basis, but how we are particularly generating this money, how we are getting this money, and basic factors about like money exchange and all these barter system things. Then the modern forms of money like these currencies that we use, and these currencies are very different in every other part of the countries. So we'll discuss that. Then there are certain deposits that we do in banks, checks related, loans. Then there are certain loan activities, the credit formation, different sort of loans that we take. We discuss that, and there will be a lot more things that we're going to discuss in this particular chapter. But in today's lecture, the topic that we will be discussing will be, so first of all, we'll discuss about money. What does money mean and how it is important in our day-to-day life. Then money as a medium of exchange. So how we use money as a medium of exchange in our life, on day-to-day life. Then there are certain modern forms of money that we use. There are different currencies, deposits, check, and all these things. Like currencies are there. Currencies are of different forms. It is not a one form thing. Then deposits that we do with banks, and what kind of assurance that we get, what kind of deposits that we do. Then loan activities of banks are there. So there are different form of loan activities that are done and how they are supposed to be done. So we'll let you know that. Then the assignment solution, from this manufacturing industry assignment that I have given you, we'll talk about that in the homework solution, and I will assign you one homework in this particular lecture. So please carry your book within your hand. That is very much needed. One notebook and one pen, that is also needed to write down the notes, that you must be knowing each and every topic in detail, and any point that you find it important, please write it down or mark in your book as well. Okay, so let's get started with the lecture. So first of all, we are going to discuss about money. So what does money signify in our day-to-day life? Like why it is important, and why it plays such an important role in our day, in everyone's life, not day-to-day life, in everyone's life. Money is the most important factor. Like you have probably never thought very much about money, and it is just there around you. Like each and everything that you do, like in your particular age, if you want to buy something, your parents are giving you the money, and you are just going to the shop and like taking that particular thing that you wanted, and just giving, in exchange of that you are giving money to them. But when you want or need something, you simply collect some money from your parents and pay for it. But do you know how these money have been generated, how you generate this money, what kind of transactions could be possible when we use this term money? So in your daily life, there are many transactions that you do to buy things in exchange of money, but sometimes these services are also given in exchange with money. So like if you see your mother, father, anyone will be working around, so they are working to earn some money so that you could buy certain things for yourself and to run your home. So while they are working, any kind of job that they are doing, any kind of profession they are into, so they are probably giving their services to them, their work to them, so that in exchange of that they can earn some money out of it. Likewise, I am a teacher, I am giving my services to the school so that I could earn some sort of money out of it. So basically everything around us is related to these things only. So basic thing is that the reason is very simple. A person is holding money can easily exchange anything, like any particular community or service that he or she might want. So thus everyone prefers to receive payments in money and then exchange the money for things that they particularly want. So take the case if you want of a shoe manufacturer, that is given in your book as well. He wants to sell his shoes in the market and buy some wheat. So the shoe manufacturer will first exchange the shoes that he has produced for money, and then what he is going to do, he is going to exchange the money with that for the wheat. So imagine how much more difficult it would be if the shoe manufacturer had to directly exchange shoes for wheat without the use of money. So he would have to look for a wheat growing farmer who not only wants to sell wheat but also want to buy the shoes in exchange. So that is, both parties have to agree with the sale and buy other communities. This is known as double coincidence of wants. So what does basically a money, how we can define money as a particular definition. So a currency, a current medium of exchange in the form of coins or bank notes is a particular form of money currently. So if you want to give a particular definition for money, it is a current medium of exchange in the form of coins or bank notes that we use on a daily basis, and it could vary in different countries, the currency that we are using. So the item or verifiable record that is generally accepted as payment that you are giving. Payment is something that you give in exchange of goods and services that you are taking, and repayable of debts in the particular country or social economic context, or is easily converted to such a form. So basically to repay something that you have given your services to someone, and the debt that is given to you in a particular country or social economic context, or it is easily converted to such a form. So the main function of money are distinguished as a medium of exchange. So how money plays a role in different categories. So first of all, money functions as a medium of exchange in our daily life. If we give money to buy something, or we are taking money for giving them certain services out of it. So this is a medium of exchange that money can play. Then a unit of account. So a unit of account basically means that you are keeping your money safe in some place or in some account, so that if you want to use it again, you can actually take out that particular money and use it when it is needed. So it's a kind of a unit of account as well, where you can save it or where you can deposit this amount in a particular account and you can use it afterwards when it is needed. Then it's a store of value. So money plays a very important value into our day-to-day life, because it's a store of value. Like if there is certain amount of things that you want to buy, and certain things that you are not able to get right now, so it's a kind of a value that you have given to some particular things. And sometimes it's a standard of deferred payment as well, means that you are not able to pay some person at that point of time, so you given him his word that yes, I will be paying you certain amount after a period of time. So you have given a deferred payment that कि आपने उसके पर्टिकुलर एक्सचेंज की चीज आपने उसको मनी नहीं दिया, आपने उसको उस एक्सचेंज में कुछ और दे दिया गिरवी रख के, so that you could get some kind of money out of it, because you doesn't have money. Like आप कोई एक्सचेंज में चीजें रख रहे हो किसी चीज के, आपने कोई take for example, you can take it that you want to buy some meat या some sort of eggs या राशन पानी, but you doesn't have money. So what you do, आपके पास कोई भी एसेट हो जो उसका थोड़ा बहुत वैल्यू रखता हो, जिसके तो आप वो एसेट उसके पास गिरवी रख सकते हो to in exchange of taking those particular products or items out of it. So that's a deferred payment. So any item or variable record that fulfills these functions can be considered as money only. So if you are keeping your assets also as a provident fund that is like could be used in exchange of money, that is considered as money only. It can be a store of value or a medium of exchange or a unit of a account. So everything in every function which I have currently mentioned are considered as money only. So money, first of all we'll discuss about money as a medium of exchange. So how money works as a medium of exchange, what are the main functions of money as a medium of exchange. So the basic use of money span is a very large part of our everyday life. So money plays a really important role in our everyday life that we do. There are several transactions that are involved with money and are made in single day. So there will be many transactions that you do on a daily basis which involve money. Like if you want to buy even an ice cream, you want to buy a pencil or anything. These small transactions also involve money, and it is basically, if you have a record of the entire day, it will carry a lot more transactions where you must be exchanging money to buy certain things. So the goods are being brought and sold with the use of money only. All the products that you are buying or you are holding also, the use of money is being used. So if you are selling some products also, you are taking money out of it. So these goods that you brought or you sell are necessary for the money is being used in both these things. So these services that are there are also being exchanged with money. So all the people who are doing these jobs or having some sort of businesses and any kind of services that they are giving in exchange of money, that is a form of money only. So like they are generating money from their services. So that's the medium of exchange that they are doing by providing them their services and taking money out of it. So goods are also brought with the promise to pay money later. So basically few people do that. If they don't have money currently, what they do, they buy these goods with the promise to pay money later on when they will be able to. तो वो क्या कहते हैं, उसको हम कहते हैं उधार पे लेना, कि वो उधार पे चीजें ले रहे हैं, उनको प्रॉमिस कर, मतलब अगर आपकी गुडविल उनके साथ अच्छी है कि आपकी जान पहचान के साथ अच्छी है, तो व्हाट यू डू इन दिस राशन वाला शॉप, कि आप जाते हो कि भैया ये पैक कर दो, आपको आप लिख लो, हम इसके पैसे आपको थोड़ा टाइम बाद दे देंगे. तो ये चीज़ पहले होती थी बहुत, कि लोगों के अगर गुडविल अच्छी बनी हो कि आप अभी दे दो, अभी जब हमारे पास पैसे होंगे तो हम आपको पे कर देंगे. So basically these goods are also brought with a promise to pay money later on. So this money is sometimes paid in advance with the promise of delivery of goods later. But sometimes people do in like opposite of these things, that they pay in advance the money and take the all these services or goods later on as well. So as the need for a medium of exchange become a necessity, different materials were used as a medium of exchange. So there is different kind of that's a money exchange that we are doing, and it's a medium of exchange, and it is eventually become a very necessity activity to our daily life, with some different materials that we use as a medium of exchange. So sometimes they can buy or sell products, sometimes they give their services, sometimes they promise to pay the money later, or sometimes they pay in advance to buy certain things. So this is how money as a medium of exchange works. But there are certainly sometimes if you have seen it also, if there are certain older days when these modern currency was not in value, and people had to sell and buy each other's communities. Communities basically means their assets. If they have anything to buy in exchange of something, so that is the community, that's an asset you are having within yourself. And this kind of system was known as barter system, जिसको हम उधारी सिस्टम भी कहते हैं. दैट कि आप एक चीज लेना चाहते हो, उसके बदले में आपको कुछ देना पड़ता है. तो दैट इज द बार्टर सिस्टम दैट इज बीइंग done at and it is going on from a very older days we can count it as that these particular transactions has been done on exchange of something, some communities or some kind of assets that you have if you want to buy certain things. Like some people, what they do, they have gold with them. तो क्या करते हैं, if they want to like जनरेट सम मनी और उनको कुछ चाहिए होता है तो वो अपनी जो ज्वेलरी होती है वो दे गिरवी रख देते हैं और उसके एक्सचेंज में वो पैसे ले लेते हैं. सो दैट एक वन ऑफ एक मीडियम होता है जिसको हम बार्टर सिस्टम कहते हैं कि आप एक अपना एसेट रख रहे हो और उसके एक्सचेंज में आप कुछ एनीथिंग यू आर बाइंग out of it. So in this particular thing, in the older days when modern currencies were not in value, when people had to sell and buy each other's commodities, this was known as the barter system. For instance, if the shoe manufacturer wants to buy wheat and he has to find a farmer who wants to buy his shoes in exchange for the wheat. So I have just told you before this particular example that there is a shoe manufacturer and he wants to बाय वीट. तो अब उसके पास देने के लिए शूज ही हैं कि अगर मतलब उसको वीट चाहिए खाने पीने के लिए, बट ही डज ओनली हैव शूज. सो ही इज फाइंडिंग अ काइंड ऑफ अ फार्मर, ही वांट्स टू बाय हिज शूज इन एक्सचेंज फॉर द वीट. तो बोथ पार्टीज हैव टू एग्री. अब इस चीज में इफ द फार्मर डजंट वांट दैट पर्टिकुलर शूज तो वो मना कर सकता है. तो हियर both the parties have to agree to sell and buy each other commodities. If both the parties agree, then only this barter system works. So this is known as the double coincidence of bonds. If the farmer also need that shoes and he agrees to it, and the shoe manufacturer also agree to buy the wheat after giving his shoes to them, then only this particular transaction is being completed. So this particular thing, when both the parties have to agree to sell and buy each other commodities, this particular thing is known as double coincidence of bonds. So in a barter system where goods are directly exchanged without the use of money, double coincidence of bonds is an essential feature here. So how does this barter system works? Where if you doesn't have money to pay in exchange of something, so these goods are directly exchanged without the use of money here. And double coincidence of bonds is the essential feature that plays here, where both the parties agree to sell or buy their assets or their commodities with each other. So this is particularly known as double coincidence of bonds. Now how this barter system works, what does it mean? So a barter system is a kind of an old method of exchange. So the system has been used for centuries and long before money was invented. So this particular system was going on from a lot of centuries ago and lot of it is a very long time that they are using this particular system because people at that time doesn't have money to buy certain things. So what they do is, like, see, if you have seen in this example, one person is giving away the wheat and other one is giving away the apple. So जिसको जो चीज की ज़्यादा नीड होती है, they exchange that particular thing with the other person. So the buying and selling thing happens like this way. So there was not an exchange of money, but they were exchange of commodities and assets. So this system has been used for centuries and long before money was invented. And people exchange services and goods like for other services and goods in return. So they are giving their people exchange these services and goods for other services and goods in return out of it. So that's how this barter system works. Now we are going to talk about the modern forms of money. So if you have seen that money is something that can be act as a medium of exchanging transactions, but before that this money was not being introduced much. They were using this barter system, or this exchange of money was there with some services and exchange of their own goods. But after that there was introduction of coins, a variety of objects, that were used as money. And like for example, since in the very early ages, Indian used grains and cattle as money, and thereafter there came the use of this metallic coins, gold, silver, copper coins kind of things, and a phase which continued well into the last century as well. So पिछले, if we talk about 19th century तक भी, they were not using any sort of currency, they were using coins as a material. So these modern forms of money is included currency afterwards. They introduced this paper notes and coins, new coins afterwards. This modern currency is without its own use. In India, the Reserve Bank of India is the one who issue these currency notes on behalf of the central government. And in India, the currency name that has been given is rupee, that is widely accepted as a medium of exchange, and it is accepted as a medium of exchange because the currency is authorized by the government of the country. So no other individual or organization is allowed to issue currency apart from the RBI. So RBI is the main one here. It plays a very important role. So before that, in the previous centuries, people were using these older grains and cattle. They were using a different sort of metallic coins like gold, silver and copper type. You can see that in your book as well. It is given on page number 40. The pictures that you can see: Gupta coins, the Tughlaq coins, gold mohar from Akbar's region. So these were the currencies that have been used in the earlier ages. But after the, like from the previous century, this change, like this modern currency that had came up with, which included paper notes and coins, and this modern currency is without its own use. And in India, RBI is the one who issues these currency notes on behalf of the central government. And in India, rupee is the one that has been given to this currency name, and it is widely accepted as the medium of exchange. And it is accepted as the medium of exchange because the currency is authorized by the government of the India, and no other individuals or organization is allowed to issue currency out of it. Now, if you see that in India, we call our currency as rupee, but in different countries there are different currencies. Like if you see that in other countries they have given particular name to their currencies. Like in USA, you can see the pictures as well how these their currencies look like. So in USA, the dollar is being used, dollar as a currency is being used. You can see the picture how these dollars look like. Now in Britain, they are using this pound sterling. So in Britain and in European countries, they use pound as a currency, and they call it as pound sterling. So you can see how these pounds look like in the picture. Then in Canada they use Canadian dollar. So they have their different kind of dollar that they are using in Canada. That is the Canadian dollar. You can see in the picture how it looks like. And in Singapore, they have Singapore dollar. Like you can see how Singapore dollar look like. So they are using USA, Canada and Singapore are using dollar as a currency, but it is different from each other. You can see in the picture how they look like. So USA dollar is different, Singapore dollar is different, Canadian dollar is different from each other. In China they use Chinese yuan, renminbi. So basically they have a different sort of currency that they use. You can see it here how these Chinese yuan look like. And in Japan they use Japanese yen. So in Japan the yen has been used as a currency. In Australia they have Australian dollar, that like abhi jitna dollar humne baat kiye, so they have their own kind of dollar, that is the Australian dollar. You can see in the picture how they look like. And in Sri Lanka they have Sri Lankan rupee. So they also call it as rupee, but it is different from our rupee. They call it as Sri Lankan rupee. So unka bhi rupee mein hai, lekin it is different from our rupee. You can see in the picture how they look like. So in other countries also, in other part of the countries also, they have their own kind of currencies that they have needed and how they look like. You can see on the net also about how other countries. We have covered the main one. You can see how in other countries what kind of currency they are using. Now we are going to talk about the deposits, that money in the bank. So the other form in which people hold money is as deposits with bank. So people need only some currency for their day-to-day needs, and at a point of time people need some extra money with the bank by opening a bank account in their name. So people deposit all their extra money with the banks by opening a bank account with their name. So your parents must be having their bank accounts in various banks as possible, and they are keeping all their extra money if they want, if they are having, they are keeping with the bank and by opening a bank account with their names. So this bank accept the deposit and also pay an interest rate also with the deposit. So if they are having a saving account, the bank is also paying them some interest rate on that particular deposit, where they are getting some like 2 to 3% some extra money that they are having in their account out of it. So in this way people's money is safe with the bank and it earns an interest as well. Like for example, if you want to take, there is an example that has been given to you in your book. Workers who receive their salaries at the end of every month have extra cash at the beginning of the month. What do people do with this extra cash? So they deposit it with the banks by opening a bank account in their name, and bank accept the deposit and also pay an interest rate on that particular deposit. In this way people's money is safe with the bank and it earns an interest. People also have the provision to withdraw the money and when they are required. So whenever they are need of any sort of more money then their daily basis से आगे अगर उनको money चाहिए होता है, what they do, they go to the bank and they can withdraw the money whenever they are required. Since the deposits in the bank account can be withdrawn on demand, these deposits are called demand deposits. So basically आप बैंक में से कभी भी withdraw कर सकते हो पैसे. So basically this kind of thing जो deposits होते हैं इनको हम demand deposits भी कहते हैं. So since these deposits in the bank account can be withdrawn on demand, so these deposits are also known as demand deposits. Now the another form is that apart from demand, from deposits or currency, the check. The check payments have been used as in various forms. Like a deposit in the bank offers the customer the facility of issuing cash or checks as well. So a check is a kind of a paper instructing the bank to pay a specific amount from the person's account to the person in whom name the check has been made. So sometimes you don't want to make a money transaction from your account to, if you want to pay some other person a particular amount. So what you do, you actually use a check that which is in a form of a paper instructing the particular bank you have to pay a specific amount from the person's account to the person in whom the name of the check has been made. So the recipient of the check can deposit it in his own account from his bank. So when he get that particular check to whom you must be issuing that check, that person can deposit it in his account in his particular bank. Now the money is being transferred from one bank account to the other bank account. So here the money is not being exchanged, the money is being transferred from their one bank account to the other bank account in a couple of days. So it takes mostly 2 to 3 days when this transaction is being done, or this transfer is being done from one bank account to the other bank account. The transaction is complete without any payment of cash here. So no cash, no money is being exchanged, not any kind of cash is being made. जो currency आपके हाथ में होती है वो exchange नहीं हो रही है. Apart from that, directly the transaction is being transferred from one account to the another. And this is one of the safe mode of transferring money, avoiding the possibility of any sort of theft. So basically, if you have cash, there is a certain kind of drift in your mind that it could be get theft or any other person can steal it. So this particular thing is quite in a very safe mode of transferring money, avoiding the possibility of any sort of theft. So here you can see how a particular check looks like. So here you can see the pay that is written. In that you can write to whom you are paying it. आप किसको वो पैसे देना चाहते हो. So here they are giving it to Charity Alliance New Delhi. आप जिसको भी आप पे करना चाहते हो आप उसका बैंक अकाउंट या उसका नाम उसके ऊपर लिख देते हो. Then you have to mention the date as well. So on which date you are issuing that particular check, that should be mentioned. Then what amount of money that you want to transfer. So in rupees you have to write in words, and in the another block that is written in the words and in the numbers. दोनों में आपको लिखना पड़ता है. So in rupees you have to mention like 1000 only. That way you have to write, and in numbers you have to write in this block rupees 1000. नीचे अकाउंट नंबर होता है आपका, दैट इज ऑल्सो इम्पोर्टेंट. एंड फ्रॉम आपका जो बैंक की डिटेल्स होती है वो भी होता है. एंड दी एंड आपको यहाँ पे 3 नंबर दिख रहे हैं. जो आपका फर्स्ट होता है वो होता है आपका चेक नंबर, जो कि बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. दैट इज नीडेड, दैट इज काउंटेड. तो वो काफी नेसेसरी होता है. सो दिस इज हाउ अ चेक लुक्स लाइक एंड हाउ यू कैन इशू इट टू एनी अदर डिपॉजिटर और होल्डर. Now we are going to talk about the role of RBI. What does RBI role plays here? So RBI is the one who issue all the currency notes. They are the one who have the currency authority, and they are the one. They are the main authority of India. जो central authority ने जिसको authorize कर रखा है, that is the RBI one who is issuing the currency notes. Now the bankers have to बैंकर टू गवर्नमेंट, दे आर दी वन. तो जितने भी अदर बैंक्स हैं दे वो उनको आरबीआई की वन दे आर गिविंग दी पर्टिकुलर नोट्स एंड करेंसी टू दीज अदर बैंक्स. एंड जो मनी जितनी भी ट्रांजेक्शन होती है वो गवर्नमेंट के पास सारे एक्नॉलेज होती हैं. तो दीज बैंकर्स बैंक कम फ्रॉम सुपरविजन. सो जो सुपरविजन होता है वो आरबीआई करता है. Then there is a monetary regulation and management also by that is being played by RBI here. Exchange management and control and collection of data and publication. So these are the main role of RBI. So if any question comes under that, what is the main role of RBI? So you can write these particular points. Now loan. So the next topic that we are going to discuss is loan. So a loan is the kind of the lending of money from one individual, organization or entity to another individual here. So here a loan is the kind of a thing that where you are giving away some sort of money to one individual or organization or any entity possible to another individual from another individual, organization or entity. So a loan is a kind of a debt. मतलब आप उधार पे कोई चीज दे रहे हो बाय प्रोवाइडिंग देम एंड एंटिटी, और लाइक आप उसके एक्सचेंज में आप उनको कुछ गिरवी रखते हो. आप लोन ऐसे नहीं ले सकते हो. यू हैव टू लाइक गिव अवे सम सॉर्ट ऑफ पर्टिकुलर थिंग और एनीथिंग, मतलब इंश्योरेंस या समथिंग और द अदर, लाइक व्हाटएवर on what behalf you are taking the like loan. So you have to give the insurance to them. So to another an entity at an interest rate. So whenever you are taking a loan from the bank, so they particularly see your details, what individual they are giving to, what kind of background you are having, what kind of job that you are doing, and when you take that particular loan, they give it on an interest rate. So every other bank have their own loan interest rate that they give it. तो जब आपको वो लोन आप एक साथ तो पे नहीं करना होता, आपको एक पर्टिकुलरली पोर्शन से पे करना होता है, और वो पोर्शन के साथ एक इंटरेस्ट रेट लगा पड़ा होता है जो आपको थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा पे करना होता है जितना आपने लोन लिया होता है. सो दैट इज हाउ दिस पर्टिकुलर लोन वर्क्स. So there is the evidence also of a prominency note which specify among other things and the principal amount of money borrowed, the interest rate the lender is charging and the date of repayment. So there is a proper document that is being signed when you take any loan. in that particular promissory note, it has been specified that what kind of amount that you are taking, what are the major rules that should be acknowledged when you are taking that loan, how much amount you are borrowing, and the interest rate that is lended and it will be charged on that particular amount, the date of the repayment, everything is mentioned in that promising note. So a loan is entitled with the relocation of the subject called assets for a period of time between the lender and the borrower. So basically कुछ assets होते हैं जो उनको उसके exchange में गिरवी रखने पड़ते हैं if you are taking any loan for the guarantee. So they particularly need guarantee if you are taking any sort of loan out of it for a period of time. If you are not able to pay, they have the authority to take away that particular asset from you if you are not able to pay that particular loan on time. So there will be certain times if you are not able to give that particular amount to them, so they can take away your assets for a period of time till the time you are not able to repay them the amount that you have taken as a loan. Now how these loan activities of banks work? So basically these banks keep a small proportion of their deposits as cash with themselves to pay the depositors who might come to withdraw money from the bank or on any given day. So जितने भी लोग अपने पैसा डिपॉजिट करते हैं बैंक में, so they keep the small proportion of that particular amount with themselves as, क्योंकि बहुत कोई भी लोग आ भी सकता है to withdraw that particular amount अपने बैंक अकाउंट में से, so they keep a small proportion of their deposits as cash with themselves to pay the depositors who might come to withdraw the money from the bank on any given day. Now what they do with the major proportion, so the banks use the major proportion of the deposits to exchange loan. So they provide loan to other particular people out of it. So basically they are providing loans. जो major proportion जो deposits का होता है वो उसके मतलब उस पैसों के exchange में वो लोन दे देते शुरू कर देते हैं. In this way these banks mediate between those who have surplus funds, जो मतलब डिपॉजिटर्स होते हैं, those who are in need of these particular funds as the borrowers. तो वो जिनके पास ज़्यादा पैसे होते हैं जो कि डिपॉजिट करवाते हैं, वो उनसे लेके वो उनको देते हैं फंड्स जिनको उनकी नीड होती है, और बेसिकली द borrowers. तो these banks charge a higher rate of interest on the loans and that of the depositors. So depositors जो होते हैं उनको एक इंटरेस्ट रेट मिलता है, वो कम होता है, लेकिन जो इंटरेस्ट वो क्योंकि उनको वो मिल रहा है, मतलब बेसिकली उनको देना पड़ा है, सॉरी, जो डिपॉजिटर्स हो रहा है उनको इंटरेस्ट रेट देना पड़ता है क्योंकि उन्होंने पैसे डिपॉजिट करवाए हैं, वो उनके पैसे, तो एज द एक्सचेंज ऑफ दैट दे हैव टू गिव इट. तो बट जब उनको देना होता है तो ऑब्वियसली दे आर कीपिंग इन लो, बट जब उनको लेना होता है on the basis of loans, they are charging higher rate of interest. So basically these banks charge a higher rate of interest on loans, basically from 12 to 10 to 20% के बीच में they can charge this rate of interest, where they the borrower have to give away that particular amount in with the interest rate, and the difference between what is charged from the borrowers and what is paid to the depositors is their main source of income here. तो जितना भी वो मंथली उनको ये लोन में जो भी borrower उनको पे करते रहते हैं, या फिर जितना इंटरेस्ट उनको मिलता है, इसके बीच का जितना भी अमाउंट होता है, that is their source of income. So the coupon accepted successfully here कि जो इंटरेस्ट रेट बेसिकली they are getting from these loan और जितना उनको पे करना होता है, तो बेसिकली दे आर चार्जिंग मोर ऑन दी लोन्स. जैसे 12% है ऑफ दे आर चार्जिंग ऑन दी लोन्स एंड दे आर गिविंग 4% एज द इंटरेस्ट टू दिस depositors as the rate of interest. So 12 minus 4, that is 8. So this particularly 8% of जो भी extra पैसा होता है, that is their source of income that these banks are getting, and basically they are very successful in these particular activities. So that's how these loan activities of bank works. So that's it for today, that we have discussed these particular topics. Now we are going to discuss about the homework solution. So I have given you the assignment in which I have given you 6 questions. So we are going to discuss each question one by one. The first question was about water pollution. So water pollution, the answer of that question is water pollution is caused by organic and inorganic industrial waste and effluent discharge into rivers. Major water pollutants are dyes, integrants, acids and salt. Heavy metals like lead and mercury, pesticides and fertilizers and synthetic chemicals with carbon, plastics and rubber etc. discharged in the water bodies without treatment pollute these water bodies. Solid waste like fly, ash, phosphogypsum and iron and steel slags etc. and waste from nuclear power plants cause water pollution. Dumping of harmful chemicals and industrial effluents etc. on the land causes rainwater to percolate. As a result, these pollutants contaminate the groundwater. Answer number 2. So basically the reason for the fast growth of automobile industries are after liberalization, the coming in of new and contemporary models of stimulated the demand for vehicles in the market. This lead to the healthy growth of the industry including passenger cars, 2 and 3 wheelers. Then foreign direct investment brought in new technology and aligned the industry with global developments. Trucks, buses, cars, motorcycles, scooters, 3-wheelers and multi-utility vehicles and commercial vehicles are manufactured in India at various centers such as Delhi, Gurgaon, Mumbai, Jamshedpur, etc. These industry has experienced a quantum jump in less than 15 years. Now answer number 3, here you have to tell 4 characteristics and the 4 uses of aluminium. So the 4 characteristics of aluminium are: it is a light metal, it is resistant to corrosion, it is good conductor of heat, it is malleable and becomes strong when mixed with other metals. Now 4 uses or importance of aluminium: it is used for manufacturing aircraft, it is used for making utensils and packing material, it is used for making wires, it has gained popularity as a substitute of steel, copper, zinc and lead in a number of industries. Now answer number 4, what were the basic reasons of iron ore? So there was a shift. So firstly, low cost of iron ore which is mined here. Second, high grade raw materials in close proximity. Third, availability of cheap labor. Fourth, vast growth potential in the home market. 5. Efficient transport network for their distribution to the markets and consumers. 6. Availability of power because this region has many thermal and hydel power plants. 7. Liberalization and FDI has also given boost to the industry with efforts of private entrepreneurs. Answer number 5. Why the sugar industries is shifted towards the southern and western states? Because cane produced here has higher sucrose content, which means there will be more sugar from less sugar cane, and the favorable climate conditions like cooler climate ensures a longer growing and crushing season. The cooperatives are more successful in these shapes, and sugar industry being seasonal in nature is ideally suited to cooperative sector, and yield per hectare is higher in southern states. And answer number 6, our textile industry occupies a unique position in the Indian economy because it contributes significantly to industrial production, which is 14%. It employs largest number of people after agriculture, for example 35 million persons directly. Its shares in the foreign exchange earnings is significant at about 24.6%. It contributes 4% towards GDP, and it is the only industry in the country which is self-reliant and compete in the value chain. from raw material to the highest value added products. Now the homework that I want to assign you in this particular lecture is, how does the use of money make it easier to exchange the particular things? Second, write few examples of goods and services being exchanged or wages being paid through barter. And third, why are demand deposits considered as money? So these are the three questions that you have to do as the homework. And if you have queries related to any of the topics that we have discussed today, you can ask me in the online class where we can discuss your queries and your doubts. So thank you so much class for listening to this lecture. Please take care of yourself and have a great day.